Well, welcome to class, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Monday morning. Today's the first day of our journey through to either Ardha Chandrasana, which is half moon pose, or Ardha Chandra Chapasana, which is bound half moon pose. So both postures, there's a lot of places that we need to open up. So we'll be focusing on opening up the front body, so the quads, the hip flexors, the front of the torso, flexibility in hamstrings, as well as strength in the legs as well. So we need both aspects of it because it's an asymmetrical balancing posture. One leg will be engaging the strength while the other leg is using the openness that we'll create. So we'll be doing the balance of both of these things today and over the next 2 weeks. We'll also be going through some asymmetrical back bends. So at any time, if any of these movements don't feel good for you, please feel welcome to do any other variations at home that you feel would be most suited for your practice. And I'll give you some different things that you can do as we go through our time together as well. We're going to start either lying or seated, so however you feel comfortable this morning. Starting to close the eyes down or take your soft gaze towards the top edge of your mat if you're seated, or up to the ceiling if you're lying down. And moving about a little bit, roll the shoulders up and back. It's probably haven't really moved much since waking up, so taking any kind of wriggles and movements so that you can start to feel comfortable in whatever place you've chosen to be. So in either option that you've chosen, unless you come into child's pose to start practice, we want to keep our neck in a neutral position. So if you're seated, feel the lift from the base so that there's creating space between all the vertebrae in neutral position for the neck. So it might be a little tuck of the chin to the chest here. And if you're lying down, you might like to lift your head up off the mat, create some length down the back of the neck, and then place the head back down to rest on your mat. And let's take 3 sighing breaths here. So breathing in, feeling your lungs expand, and we'll sigh out. Feel your shoulders soften, feel the softness that comes around the torso. We'll take another breath in. Feel the lift and the rise. And sigh out. Letting go. One more like this, breathing in. And out. Starting to focus on the breath in the lungs. And feeling the way that this space changes shape as you let your breath flow in and out. And noticing the way the back of the body moves to accommodate the welcoming of the air, the prana into the lungs. And then notice how everything moves back into your center as you breathe out. And after a few breaths, focusing on the back body, the expansion and contraction. Moving your focus to the sides of your body, so feeling the sides of your rib cage move out, so away from your heart center as you breathe in. And then moving back in on the breath out. Again, taking a few breaths, focusing, sending the intention of the breath to expand in the side body. And then coming back in. And then awareness to the front. The breath in, feeling the expansion of the chest rising. and falling. And as you settle into your awareness at the front of the body, drishti to your heart center, this space in the middle of your chest. You can connect with your intention for your practice. So this might be an intention that you set at the new moon yesterday. This might be something you've been working with over the last few weeks or months, or even something that arises for you this morning. But you can start this as I am. And letting your sankalpa arise, you'll repeat this to yourself 3 times. Letting go of your sankalpa. On your next inhale, you're going to expand in all aspects of the chest and the upper body. So on the next breath in, feel the back body expand, feel the sides, the ribs expand, feel the chest lift. We'll hold here. Holding as long as it's comfortable for you, and then let the breath come out through the nose. And then starting to move into the natural rhythm, so the evenness of the breath in and out. Remembering the pauses, so we let the breath come in and then we pause. And then we let the breath move out, same length as the inhale, and pause at the bottom. And when you feel comfortable and connected to this rhythm, slowly making your way onto your back. If you have a strap with you this morning, or a scarf or a belt, you can get that handy. We're going to, once we come down onto the back, draw knees into chest. Make sure that there's nothing in the way of you having the back of your head flat on the mat, so you can take the ponytail off to the side. Hands to knees, let's move side to side a little bit and make some circles with the knees one way. And then changing, going in the other way. Feet are active in this posture, so big toe mounds can stay together, feet are slightly pointed, moving back in the first direction and then changing again. Squeezing knees towards chest, maybe lifting the forehead up, so squeezing really tight into a little ball here. And then we'll release. Left foot will come down to the mat, or the leg can be straight here, depending upon how your lower back's feeling this morning. If you're straightening the leg, draw the thigh up and flex the foot. The right leg, we're going to stretch it up to the sky. So if you don't have a strap this morning, you're going to take your hands to the back of your thigh, press the heel up. If you have a strap, taking your strap, placing it around the ball of your foot, so it's important that it's not down on this soft part in the arch. You want to have the strap position just below the base of the toes. And if you're using a strap, sending the leg up, and then you're placing your hands one on either side of the strap. In both options, elbows bent. See if you can get your shoulder blades flat on the mat, so that we're keeping the upper body fairly relaxed here, and then starting to stretch out the back of the right leg here. So if the left leg straight, keep pressing through the heel, and then with the right leg, any kind of bend that you'd like in the knee here. So we can have a big bend or tiny micro bend here. And checking strap still in that spot at the base of the toes, and we inhale, press through the heel, and then exhale, draw that leg a little bit closer. So starting to warm up the back of the leg, we're looking for a stretch down the back of the right leg here. If you've got hands around the leg, if we can stay relaxed in the upper body, you might take your hands up towards the calf muscle. We'll do 2 more breaths here. And stay connected to your rhythmic breath. 1 more breath in. On the exhale, soften, take that knee wide here, point the toes, so keeping this right foot active, just in the opposite way. And then take this knee and squeeze it down towards your armpit. If this left leg straight, press out through the heel, thighs drawing up, and then release. Right knee comes down, left knee comes in, and then let's send it up. So either right leg with the foot on the mat, or the right leg is straight and flex the foot. And then this left leg, either hands to the back of the thigh to start with, or we're using our strap again. So checking position of the strap in either option, elbows bent, shoulder blades flat on the mat or working towards the mat, and breathe here. So the inhales, press through the heels. Exhales, draw that leg towards you. Remember the bend if you need a big bend or micro bend. If you're really locking out your knee, see how it feels to just take that tiny bend. We're warming the legs up, so we don't want to be going too extreme with our stretches first thing. 2 more breaths, breathe in. Remember, hands might lift up towards the foot if you're on the strap, or hands to the calf muscle here. 1 more breath. And then we release again, taking your left hand to left knee and guiding that knee wide here, so wide, and then drawing it down towards your armpit. You can always anchor down with your right hand here on your right hip. Feet are active, so point the toes of the left foot, flex the right foot if that leg is straight. And then release. Both knees to chest, strap can go off to the side now. Your version of happy baby. So we'll take the knees wide, one hand on each knee, keeping the toes pointed here so our feet are active. You can rock side to side. If I want to take hands to the backs of the thighs, then we flex the feet, take those feet up towards the sky. Still using the strength of the arms to draw the knees down and wide here, maybe a little rock. If you can keep your neck and your shoulders in this relaxed position, the arms might come up on the insides of the legs, holding onto ankles, maybe onto outside edges of the feet. So in happy baby, we have our arms on the insides of the legs. So if you can see that I've got my arm on the outside of my leg, you feel like this with your knees fairly wide and your feet fairly close. See if you can take the opposite, knees wide, and then drawing down here. So there's a little bit of action that we need from the upper body to draw the knees down, getting a stretch in the hips, and maybe feeling a little bit more in our hamstrings here. We can rock side to side. And then we release, knees to chest, and a squeeze here. Big toe mounds touch, toes are pointed. And then we're going to come up to Navasana. So you can either rock and roll on your spine or roll off to the side here. If you're rock and rolling, we're going to take a couple of movements here to come up, and we'll eventually hover on our sitting bones in our boat pose. Beautiful. We're going to take our fingertips behind us this morning. So press the fingertips down onto the mat, big toe mounds touch, lift the feet a little bit. So one of the other aspects of our body that we need to open up is this front of the shoulders if we choose to come into our bound half moon pose. So we'll keep our fingertips on the mat, feet can lift, draw the lower belly in. If you're feeling stable here, you could lift your arms up, interlace fingers, and then reach your hands towards the back edge of your mat here. So if you start to feel a little unstable, fingertips can come back to the mat. Inhale, draw the lower belly and squeeze the thighs towards each other. We'll do 2 more breaths here. Inhale, lift up, fingertips press down or hands lift. Exhale, thighs towards each other. 1 more. And then release. A butterfly will need to help guide the body forward, and then round forehead towards your feet here. And take a breath in and out. Inhale to lift up, either taking feet to the side or crossing your legs to roll over the knees, making your way into downward dog. So downward dog, we start by checking with the hands. We press down into the hands, little index finger facing forward or slightly outwards, tuck the toes. Take an inhale so that will ripple through the spine, and then exhale, press into the hands, lift the hips. If you're staying more grounded in your practice this morning, knees on the mat, keep the hips over the knees and walk the hands forward to come into puppy pose. So puppy pose or melting heart pose, feel the heart move down towards your mat. Arms can be active or they can be relaxed here. If you're in downward dog, checking in, base of all the fingers pressing down and moving the legs here. So one leg straight and then the other knee bent. Change sides. Bringing in any other movements here. So you can move the hips side to side, pivot on the balls of the feet. So taking heels side to side. And then coming to your still downward dog. If that's where you are. Little softness in the knees. Heart presses back, upper arms wrap around towards your midline. And then we'll start our walk for breath in starts, knees bend, look forward, taking as many steps as you'd like to walk to the top of the mat. And then we'll breathe out into Uttanasana, our forward bend. On an inhale, press into the feet, straighten the legs, feel the ripple through the spine, halfway lift hands can come to shins here. And pause. So feeling even weight in the feet here. If there's hips are behind the heels, maybe coming a little bit further forward here. Inhale, feel that ripple again. Exhale, soften, Uttanasana, knees can bend. Inhale to rise, so press into the feet, feel that even weight in the feet as we lift the body, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take a moment to reset into Tadasana. So top of the mat, feel that even weight in the feet, base the big toe, base the little toe on the heel here. So heels are underneath your sitting bones. Release the arms and roll the shoulders up and back. Our hearts are lifted here. Thighs are drawing up. Slight drawing in of the lower belly. We'll take a breath in and out. Next inhale, rotate the wrists, reach your fingertips away from the body and then up to the sky. Exhale, soft knees come into your forward bend here. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on shins, even weight in the feet. And then exhale, move back to plank pose. Right foot goes first and then your left. So if it's okay, come to full plank first, shoulders over wrists. Remember, it can be fists or palms on the mat here in your plank. So draw your lower belly and see if you can lift a little bit more. So if you feel as though you've got your hips sagging down, you generally feel this as a little bit of movement here in the lower back, so a little bit of squeezing the lower back. We want to lift up here so we can create space in the lower back. We'll take another breath in, knees to the mat. Beautiful. One more inhale and then exhale, lower. 3, 2, 1. Inhale for your first cobra. So lift the heart. Exhale, chest to mat. And then inhale again, press into the feet, press into the hand, elbows towards each other. Exhale, chest to mat. Let's do a hovering cobra. So we'll inhale, press into the feet, and then lift the hands. So using just the strength of the upper body to lift up. We'll pause here and take a breath in. And then exhale, come down. One more cobra to transition. So inhale, lift up, maybe a little bit higher this time. Beautiful. Exhale, come down halfway. Start to engage the feet, engage the toes, engage the thighs. We're either lifting up for a tabletop or to plank pose. And then back to downward dog. Maybe we're knees on the mat for puppy pose. Maybe we come all the way to child's pose for rest. So if you come to child's pose, knees any distance apart, feet any distance apart, let the arms relax. And you're always welcome to come to child's pose anytime you need during practice. If you're in downward dog, check in with your hands, so pressing down through the base of all of the fingers. Notice if you found a gaze point or if the eyes are kind of darting around everywhere and looking at the toes and then the back of the mat and then whatever's behind you here. Especially when we practice at home, our drishti is so important because it helps us to stay present on our mat and present in our practice. So finding a drishti that's maybe between your toes or between your knees, and let your gaze just gently rest there without really focusing on what's behind you. We'll take another breath in and out. To move forward, start the inhale, bend the knees, look to the top edge of your mat, and then move your right foot first. One step or lots of steps, and exhale, forward bend here. Feel the even weight in the feet, and then inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, legs straight, spine straight. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale to rise, feet press down, feel the thighs draw up, the lower go in, and then reach the arms out. And reach for the sky. And then exhale, hands out high. And fall back into Tadasana, take a breath. Arms by side. Inhale, reaching the arms out and up. Exhale, Uttanasana, soft knees, soft belly as you come forward. Inhale, halfway lift, so starting from the earth, ripple. Exhale, left foot back and then right. Full plank first. You can either stay here or you can choose to take your knees to the mat. So we're either full plank or half plank, or even doing cat-cows here if you prefer not to do chaturanga this morning. Inhale, long spine, gazes forward, and then keep your drishti steady. Start the breath out and lower down. 3, 2, 1. We hover and then back bend a choice. We might be coming to cobra again, pressing down with the hands and the feet, maybe upward dog, and then exhale, come down halfway. Engage the upper arms, engage the lower belly, plank, tabletop, and then choosing that place to rest. Downward dog, puppy, or child's pose. We're going to lift our leg here. So you could do this in a tabletop as well if you're staying a little bit grounded this morning, but you do want to stretch the legs out. So on your next inhale, start to lift your right leg up, point the toes. We want to keep the hips level here, and then let your left heel come down. So we're working with finding stretch down the back of the left leg and engaging the right quad to lift the leg a little bit higher. Point the toes, press into the hands, so check here. Hands are even, arms are straight, shoulders are even. Lift a little bit higher as you breathe in, let that left heel come down, and then exhale, foot to the mat. Downward dog, or maybe we're back in tabletop. Inhale, left leg lifts, right heel drops. And then again, check that everything's active. Left toes are pointed, lift that foot. Right heel moves down. Check in with the hands, press them down firmly. Arms are engaged. Heart presses back. We'll inhale, lift higher, right heel drops. And then exhale, foot comes back to the mat. Next breath in, knees bend, look forward, left foot, and then right. One step or lot and come back to Uttanasana and breathe out. Inhale, halfway lift. So even fingertips might stay on the mat or hands can come back to shins. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale to rise, arms reach out and up. Exhale, hands out high. Take a breath. Checking in with your breath pattern. Seeing how the body feels, the shoulders feel, the legs feel. Feeling your feet on the mat. Lift the toes and place them back down. Arms by side. Next, inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, reach the fingertips down to the ground and then lift the arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, even weight in the feet, ripple through the body. Breathing out, step, float or walk back to plank pose. So your kind of vinyasa here, options, plank or half plank, chaturanga or cat-cow. We're going through chaturanga on the breath out, lower down. With a slow, mindful movement, hover, and then inhale, come into your back bend, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, move back. downward dog, or a tabletop. Next inhale, right leg lifts, left heel drops, point the toes. Press evenly into the hands, and then option to stack your hips here. So we can take our heel towards our bottom and stay here, working with stretching the front of our right hand, our right quad. We might choose to lift that right knee so that we're getting this openness in the front of our right hip flexor. So press into the hands here, lift the right knee if you've chosen to stack hips, shoulders stay fairly even. We're pressing out through the heel, so we'll straighten that leg now. Point the toes. Level up the hips here, so three-legged dog, both hips facing down. Next, exhale, knee comes through center to chest. Press the back body up. See if you can stay here for one breath. Heel moves towards bottom, foot stays engaged, and look past your fingertips. Right foot steps forward. Option for knee up or knee down here. On an inhale, press into the feet. Lift the body first, so belly and chest and shoulders, and then maybe the arms on the reach as well. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly this morning, check with how narrow the feet are. So you might like to take your right foot wider here. Back knee can always come down as well. If you're in crescent lunge or in low lunge, we'll talk about arms first. Hands can be at heart. Arms can stay up, or you can come halfway, cactus arms. If you're in crescent lunge, we're going to straighten the front leg. If you're in this position with your knee on the mat, it'll just be a little bob back and forth here to release. If you're in this high position, we're going to straighten completely. So the inhale, straighten the front leg, squeeze the thighs towards each other. Exhale, come back to your crescent lunge. We'll do two more like this. So take it really nice and slow, the whole inhale, whole movement, and then breathe out, come back down. One more inhale, straighten that front leg, lift the right toes. Exhale, crescent lunge. For one more inhale, keeping the knee over heel. And then exhale, hands come down. Optional vinyasa, so you can choose to move back and go through your flow, either plank, low plank, or cat-cow. If you're going through chaturanga, next breath out, lower down, hover, and then come into your back bend, cobra or upward dog. And then exhale, come down halfway. Coming down halfway means that it'll be a little bit easier for you to press up and then move back to your place of rest. 2 breaths. You can always have knees on the mat and be in a puppy or a child's pose. So full nourishing breaths here. And then next breath in, left leg lifts, right heel drops. So we're still getting this stretch down the back of the right leg, working that left quad, point toes. Options here, heel towards bottom. And then you can choose to stay here, or you can stack your hips. So taking the left hip up. And as we do, notice what happens with your shoulders. Shoulders want to stay as level as possible. Press evenly into both hands. Press the hands down as we lift the right knee. Heel towards bottom. And then straightening that top leg. So now we flex the foot and press out through the heel. Point the toes. Level up the hips, so we're in 3-legged dog again. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, knee to chest. See if you can hover here, 1 breath. Press the spine up. Draw the lower belly in. Look past your fingertips. Left foot steps forward. Give it a little push if it needs to. And then, same as last time, either knee up or knee down. Wait for the breath in. Press into the feet. Lift the body, belly, chest, shoulders, and then maybe the arms. And then choosing arms up, cactus arms, hands to heart here. Okay. So make sure you feel stable. Remember the feet can go wider if you need to for your base of support. And then 3 breaths to straighten that front leg. So we don't rush through the movements. Inhale, feeling this lift as you straighten the front leg, keeping your back heel lifted. Exhale, sinking down. Back heel stays lifted. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Drishti, really important here, so keep the gaze steady. Exhale, lower.
One more inhale, straighten, lift the left toes. Exhale, crescent lunge or low lunge. Another breath in your lunge. And then exhale, hands come down. Optional vinyasa or rest. So if your breathing is starting to become a little bit laboured or the upper body needs some time away from the plank poses, take it back. Child's pose or puppy pose. If you're going through your flow, start when you're ready, or if you're needing that guidance, wait for your breath out and then lower down. Back bend on the inhale, and then exhale back, downward dog, puppy, or child's pose. And 3 breaths here. Full, smooth breaths. For our next set of movements, we are going to be having a knee on the mat, so you might like to have a blanket handy for padding your knee here. Our first movement, we're going to inhale, lift our right leg up. Exhale, knee to chest. Step the right foot forward, left knee comes down. So blanket might come to pad your left knee, or you can fold up your mat again. And you also might like to have a block by your side for this one. So have block at the top of the mat, and then we'll meet here, low lunge, fingertips on the mat. Good. And then getting settled here in your low lunge, and let's lift up for a little stretch. So breathing in, press into that front foot, lift the body, lift the arms maybe, or hands can come to heart. Okay. So sinking the hips so that you can start to feel this stretch down your left hip flexor on top of your left thigh here. And you are very welcome to stay here as well. So this could be variation 1, staying in your low lunge. If your knee doesn't love being in this posture, you can always tuck your toes and come up. But if we're keeping the knee down, we have a few more variations, and this is the intention, is to stay low for this posture this morning. So if you're comfortable to move and forward with this and your knee feels okay on the mat, we're going to bring our hands back down to the mat here. And then next option is going to be to release this foot if it's not already. So point your toes to the back edge of the mat and then lifting your heel towards your bottom. And this might be where you want to stay. So squeezing your heel in, pressing the right foot down. Okay. The next option would be to see about connecting your right hand to your left foot. So this is going to incorporate a little twist, a little bit of movement in the back, and a big stretch for the quad. So you might like to take your left hand under a block here to help give you some more height. If you don't have a block, anything you've got there to give you height, or be on fingertips on your mat. Inhale, we reach the right fingertips forward, and then as though we're doing back straight, we're going to come all the way back. See if you can catch your foot. Beautiful. And then if the foot seems like it's a long way away, we can work with squeezing our heel towards our bottom and reaching our fingertips back. If you've still got your strap by your side, you can place the strap around your foot. And then inhale, long spine, and then we're going to exhale and a little twist towards the right here. So there's a fair bit going on in this pose. We're keeping ourselves in this lunge position, bringing the heel towards the bottom and then kicking the foot. So you want to keep that action in the foot. So the foot's trying to keep the hand away from you as much as the hand's drawing the heel towards you. You inhale, long spine, and then exhale, twist here. If you're skipping this one out and you're in a crescent lunge with your knee lifted, you can come into any kind of twist in your crescent lunge. 2 more breaths here. Feeling into the top of that left thigh. 1 more inhale. And then we release. So reversing those options. See if you can keep this left foot engaged as we bring this right arm back. Block will come off to the side now. Let the left foot come down. Take a breath in to lengthen. And then exhale, take it back, stretching out the back of the right leg here. So if you've got blocks, you might have 1 block under each hand here. If you've been in crescent lunge and you're still not taking your knee down to the mat, you'll do the variation of this pose where we stay lifted and bow forward over that leg. So same sensation, getting stretched out the back of the right leg. Take another breath in. On the breath out, let your body melt forward. Next inhale, we'll start to move forward. We're going to spin, so we're still staying on the knee. For the next bit, if you want to lift the leg up to reset the kneecap, you can have a little stretch here and then take the knee back down. And then we're going to spin. I will need to turn around, but you're going to spin to face the left edge of your mat and to come into a gate pose. So you'll lift up, still on your left knee, and take your foot out to the side. Okay. So left, right foot is out, pressing down. We're still on the left knee here. Let's take this arm and just dangle it behind our thigh. Inhale, rotate the wrist, reaching out and up. And then exhale, starting to come into your side bend here. So we're keeping this arm behind us, just dangling so that we're not taking any weight on this straight leg. Press evenly into this foot of the extended leg. Reach your fingertips towards the top edge of your mat. Inhale, lift, heart stays open. So if you're starting to slump down, see if you can lift up, heart towards the long edge of your mat here. Inhale to reach. Exhale, settle. Beautiful. Next inhale, lifting up. Both arms reach for the sky. And then exhale, we're going to tip to the other side. If this top arm wants to rest, take the hand down to the hip. Fingertips can come to the mat. Big toe comes to the mat, and maybe you pause here. Fist or palm on the mat, inner elbow to face the same way as your gaze. And then maybe you'll start to play around with lifting this leg here. So the right leg, if it lifts, flex the foot. So we might be down here with our heel pretty close to the ground. We're still flexing the foot. You might be working with getting your heel up to hip height. Press the hips forward. And then inhale, long spine, so feeling this length. And then exhale, press the hips forward. Top arm, maybe it lifts. Maybe the gaze looks up as well. Inhale, press down, lift up, press through the heel. Exhale, one more inhale here, reach up, hips forward. And then slowly, foot comes down. Hands will start to come down. Inhale, lift the body. Maybe you want to reach the arms out and up again. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. We're going to spin again to face the top edge of the mat. Beautiful. We're going to lift the heel up. So from here, we're now going to come to the long edge of the mat. Heels will come in and toes will out. So I need to heel toe the feet in a little bit closer. Lower the hips down here. So hips will be maybe in line with knees or somewhere close to it. And then keeping this bend in the knees. Inhale, press into the feet. Start to engage the legs, reach the arms out and up. And then sink a little bit lower, that goddess pose. Inhale, there's a little lift. And then exhale, sinking down. For two more like this. Inhale, little lift. Exhale, lower. For one more, inhale. And down. One breath in this still goddess. Press into the feet. And breathe out. To transition, straighten the legs on the inhale. Pivot to face the top edge of your mat. Fingertips to the mat. Optional vinyasa, or you can choose to rest. So resting can be child's pose, puppy, or downward dog. Going through your flow could be knees up or knees down in plank, or even cat-cows here. Remember, if you're having a rest and you're coming into full rest in child's pose, really let the arms soften here, let the spine round and the shoulders round. So 2 breaths wherever you are. And then other side, we're coming up, downward dog or to our tabletop. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to chest, left foot forward. So getting the padding for our right knee. And then we lift up on the inhale, press into the foot, lift the body, lift the arms. Also remember variation 1, low lunge, arms in any shape. Or if we're coming off the knee, crescent lunge here. So choosing crescent lunge, low lunge, make sure your knee is padded if you need it. And then if we're taking that next variation, hands come down. Inhale, long spine, point the toes here. And then maybe variation 2, we squeeze heel towards bottom. So this might be where we use our block again. So block under right hand if we're going for the next bit. We'll inhale, reach our left fingertips forward, back stroke, and then maybe we catch hold of the foot here. So if you catch hold of the foot, once you've got hold of your foot, think about lifting your spine again. Press down. If your inner elbow is facing towards the top edge of your mat, see if you can rotate the lower arm so it faces towards your knee instead. So the left foot's fully grounded. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, spin. So we're low lunge, we're getting a stretch in the top of the right thigh. We're kicking the foot back, we're drawing the foot forward, we're spinning our heart towards the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, spin. One more breath. And then release. Arm comes first, see if you can keep your knee bent. So hands will come down to the mat, then let your foot release. Block off to the side, or if you had 2 blocks for our stretch for the back of the leg, we'll bring that, hips move back, come onto the back of the heel here, rounding the spine forward. So you could have your blocks, one under each hand, that helps you feel more comfortable in your stretch. You can have your fingertips either side of your heel, or maybe they come back a little bit further, whatever helps you feel stable. Take a breath in and out. One more. Letting go, round forward. Inhale, start to move forward. And then we're coming into our gate pose again. So we'll start to spin on the knee, spin on the foot, using inhale to come up. So grounding down into this left foot. Heart is lifted, hips face forward. Beautiful. And I'll swap so that you'll see that I'm mirroring you again. So we'll let this left arm dangle behind. Inhale, reaching the right arm up. And then exhale, starting to tip over here. So if the shoulders are hunching up, see if you can let them relax. If the shoulder prefers, hand can come to hip, or you can let this arm dangle by your side. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, maybe a little bit more. Check that this knee of the extended leg feels comfortable. So if you're really locking out here, see if you can take a tiny little micro bend to the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tip over. One more breath here. And out. As you start your next breath in, draw the lower belly in, lifting up so both arms can reach up. And then we tip over, fingertips to the mat. Top arm can either stay up or hand to hip. So this first variation, fingertips on the mat, big toe on the mat. Next variation, we ground down into the palm of the fist. Make sure inner elbow faces the same way as your nose. And then we can play around with lifting the foot here. So we flex the foot once it comes up off the mat. So press the heel away, toes back towards your knee. Inhale, lengthen. Base to crown, and then exhale, press the hips forward. Keep pressing the heel away. Top arm can be lifted. Gaze could be up. 2 more breaths. Inhale, press down, lift up. Exhale, hips move forward. For 1 more breath. And then we'll slowly bring that foot down. Hand can come to hip. Inhale, come all the way up, lower belly in. Beautiful. And then pivot, coming towards the top edge of your mat so that we can reset. Knee can lift up and then place it back down. Beautiful. And then we're going to come to goddess on the other side. So both feet will lift. We'll heel toe the feet close together, heels in, toes out. Sink the hips. Maybe we can get them a little bit lower this time. Keeping the base stable. Press into the feet, lifting up. Beautiful, arms reach out and up. Exhale, hands at heart, sink down. Beautiful. And inhale here. Exhale. Be staying in your stable, goddess. Inhale, lift the toes. Exhale, toes come down. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, heels come down. A breath in. Feet are grounded, sink down, lowest point. Inhale, straighten the legs. Take a breath out. You might choose to stay here for your next few breaths. Close eyes, one hand to belly, one hand to chest. If you'd like one last vinyasa this morning, pivot to face the front of the mat. Hands come down, step back and go through your flow. So with the knees up or knees down or cat-cow, we lower down, elbows bend back. Inhale, back bend choice. And then exhale, back, downward dog, puppy, or come to rest in child's pose. Taking 2 breaths wherever you've landed. And then we're going to come into a seat. So you can either be on your knees, cross your ankles, take your hips back. If you're in downward dog and you're practicing your float or movement forward here, you'll bend your knees, look past the fingertips, one knee and then the other. So we're kind of practicing taking some weight into the arms here and then let the hips come back behind the feet, legs out in front. So for our forward bend this morning, it's either crossed legs or a butterfly. So if you're comfortable and can have one leg in front of the other, this would be your first option. If you don't want the knees bent so much, you can come to butterfly instead. We're going to, in either option, take a breath in, lift up, and then exhale, come into the forward bend. So we might keep hands on the mat here. You might like to lower forearms down. Or if you're in the option with the legs crossed, right shin in front, sensation for the outside of the right hip, right glute. If the left shin's in front, it's the left hip. So if you're not really getting that much sensation here, you can always narrow the position. So move your foot of the shin that's closest to you towards the other side, and then take your ankle to the top of your thigh here, and then either stay up or come forward. We'll count 3 breaths here. Every breath out, let the body come forward a little bit more, shoulders relax. Full breath, so still with our rhythmic breath here. One more. On the inhale, slowly come up. If you're doing the cross leg or the square legs option, changing the cross. If you're in a butterfly, you can choose to either come back to the same variation or maybe a more relaxed version with the feet further away and round forward, taking the crown of your head towards your feet. So if it's cross legs, we're either one shin in front of the other, or we move the shin that's closest to us a little bit to the other side, heel to our thigh, inhale, lift up, and then exhale, bow forward. And soften. Still rhythmic breathing here. Inhales and exhales, same length. One more breath in. And stay in your forward bend as you breathe out. Inhale, we'll rise, come all the way up. Beautiful. Both legs out in front, point and flex the feet. And then we'll slowly make our way down onto our back. So if you're wanting to put on a jumper or socks, get in on anything that you need here. We're going to finish with a twist and then we'll be into Shavasana. So if you're using a blanket, just have your blanket by your side here. When you're ready to come down, if you're not already on your back, you can reach your fingertips forward, lift the spine. Feet are grounded down here. And then as you breathe out, slowly start to roll down. So feeling each individual vertebrae touch the mat. So there's going to be this drawing in of the lower belly. We're using our core strength. The feet will eventually lift. And then you'll feel your spine come all the way down, back of the head, rest on the mat. Arms can come by your side. And then we'll walk our heels a little bit closer. So relax, twist this morning. You can keep your feet on the mat and take the knees to the right. If you'd like a little bit more in your twist, lift the feet, let the heels come towards the bottom, knees over hips. Or on a breath out, knees over to the right. You might take your arms to make a T. You can always keep them lower. Gaze can be up, or you can look towards your left. Even as we stay with our rhythmic breath for this last posture, we let the body relax. So all of practice, we keep everything active, but now we can start to soften. And then inhale, knees come back to center. Exhale, other side. Shuffle about, shoulder blades flat as you can on the mat. Arms in a comfortable position, gaze in a position that's comfortable for the neck. Full breath. In and out. Inhale, knees come back to center. Making any last movements here that you'd like. So making sure that the spine feels comfortable, making sure the hips feel released. And do one final squeeze here. And then making your way into Shavasana. Legs straight with the toes flopping out to the sides. Or maybe a bolster or a blanket under your knees to support. Or if you don't have any props handy, you can bring the knees to be bent, knees touch, and then the feet go wide. So we want to make sure that our lower back can soften and be comfortable here so that it's not a distraction for us as we let ourselves go into Shavasana. Once the legs are set up, arms by the side, palms face the sky, back of the head on the mat. Remember anything that's in the way, your ponytail or blanket, just take it off to the side unless you need the blanket there to support your neck. Tip of the nose, looking up to your ceiling, close the eyes. Another deep breath in, and then a sigh. Letting go now. Take a full breath into your belly and sigh. As you bring your awareness back to your place on your mat, start to make those movements to gently wake up. Move about a little, stretch the body, lift the arms, point the toes. And then when you're ready, soften the knees and roll to your right side. When you're ready to lift up to your comfortable seated posture. Eyes closed, or have your gaze soft to the top edge of your mat and bring the palms to touch in front of your heart. Lift your heart. Lift the crown of the head to the sky. Come back to your Sankalpa and repeat this to yourself 3 times. Sealing our practice by chanting Om together. Take a breath in through the nose. Gratitude for our practice this morning. And bow your head, hands to third eye. Namaste. Thank you for sharing class this morning. Have a beautiful Monday, everyone. Got any questions, let me know. I'll see you on Wednesday, if not beforehand.
Thank you, Jackie.
See you, Jackie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, Jackie.